sun come out. Oh my God. The waves are so pretty. So pretty.
Scoot over, I'm getting it.
Intelexx here. Welcome to Lifin with Lex, where we talk about a variety of topics surrounding life because life be lifin', right? Yes, definitely working out to keep the stress level down because life be lifin' and people will try you. Okay. But don't worry because there is one thing that we gotta do, and listen, check the message here. Okay? Start each day with a grateful heart. Yeah?
Everybody get in the picture, get in the video. Hey, we out here.
Definitely got to be around the family, but you know, self-care is a must, so you need that isolation because, baby, but most importantly, enjoying life because you only get one, right? And you know, a part of life is building relationships. Definitely got to have that. And definitely got to stay on point with the learning because knowledge is power. Okay. And not only that, applying it. Yes, that's right. Putting that knowledge to work and doing the work for the greater good. You heard me? Make sure to tune in and tap in to this episode to see what we gonna talk about today. Hello, and welcome back. Welcome back. We're on the couch today, okay? Yes, we are. Welcome to Lifin with Lex. Welcome back to those who have been following me and have been part of this journey with me. Thank you so much for supporting me and my endeavors when it comes to this place. Welcome to those who are just tuning in. And if you like what you see and you like, make sure to subscribe and comment what your favorite part about it is. Right, so we're gonna jump right in. So, welcome again to Lifin with Lex. This is our 7th episode, y'all. We are coming in strong at the beginning of the year. Happy New Year for those of you who celebrate. Those who don't, you know, with the actual New Year, which is later on in the year, but we're not going to. All right, so the topic for today is I'm out of my mind. The importance of protecting your mental health today. So when it comes to mental health, it is something that's very important. Something that's not talked about. Because we all go through our own versions of mental health, right? For me, I've dealt with my own share of mental health over the years, and so we're going to jump into a little bit about what I've been through today. All right. So, for those of you who may not know, you know, I grew up on my mother's side, got back into other later on in life, okay. However, while I was, you know, with my mother and on my mother's side, my childhood, you know, was similar to some of you, where I suffered from abuse from a family member. And it went on for years. And I told my mother about it. She believed me. They admitted it, but in the end, nothing was done. And so, for me, actually letting out that secret, holding it many years, it really did something. And to the point where my family didn't know what was going on with me. They didn't know what happened. They weren't sure why I had switched so quickly. I was this outgoing social butterfly, always wanting to go places, do things, really quiet, really mute. I wasn't in at one point, and my mom, she didn't know what to do, so she went to get me evaluated at the hospital, and they didn't know what was going on with me. They would go back and forth, finding different things, taking my blood every day, having different medications, to figure out which one actually worked. And so when I was 12, that was the first time I was in the hospital, put in an inpatient program where, again, what they did was take blood and give me different medications that they thought would work. They did give me medication too strong. It ended up messing my metabolism up. I left there having to need glasses because my eyes became more sensitive to light, to where even when I was in there, my vision would go blurry in and out to the point where it just stayed blurry after a point in time. Prior to that, I had 20/20 vision. I didn't have any issues. I was at a good weight, and so my whole life changed after the first encounter. And even back then, they still didn't. I had another similar episode when I was about 16, and I went back to the same facility. They gave me different medication, which didn't have any side effects. But even still, they didn't know what was going on with me. They would tell me that they didn't know what was going on with me, there was nothing wrong with me, but then they would tell my mother a different story. So they had her worrying and panicking, thinking there's something wrong, and they would tell me something. Just the FYI, families, parents, if there is something wrong with your child, make sure y'all are in the same room together. Make sure y'all getting second opinions, because a lot of times you think that you're getting help for them. In actuality, you're hurting them because you're putting your trust in someone who's experimenting, and a lot of times they don't know what's going on, even though they're telling you that they do. So just do your homework. Make sure, if there's your family that's in the medical field that has experience in that, connect with them, okay? Because a lot of times they don't know, right? Even when you go to the ER hospital to get checked out, they are running tests to rule things out. They don't necessarily know what's going on, okay? And so just make sure that you do your homework before you do one else. All right, so, and mind you, I am not going to share on anything that my family did to try to figure out what was going on. Honestly, I don't think they connected what happened to me and my body's response to the information being. Because it's one thing as a young child to hold on to something, to hold on to a secret, and to be threatened not to say anything, and then finally say something and have that release from you. So parents, please pay attention to your children and the signs that they don't show you, and really just take the time to get to know your child. But you have to build that relationship first to know. Pay attention, all right, to avoid all of the extra stuff that goes on that you don't necessarily need to focus on, right? And so, like I said, second time when I was 16, fast forward, I'm done with high school, I'm in college, my early 20s, and I had another similar experience. Now, mind you, throughout this whole situation, I never spoke to therapy, that I've never fully dealt with the situation at all, right? Right. So, like I said, in my early 20s, and mind you, different things would happen during those times. I ended up having to go to the hospital because, like, life transitions, things I wasn't necessarily prepared for, the big surprises, you know. So in those moments, those are some of the triggers that would happen to me when I was younger. So again, during this time, there was a major loss that happened to me. It was a big transition for me, and like I said, another episode happened. So, well, not put in the hospital, but I ended up going to the hospital, and that's when they diagnosed me with anxiety. And it was anxiety because I didn't really know how to handle big transitions or surprises, right? And so what they said, and so I would take medication for 2 weeks, and then I would be slowly moving. And so, like I said, it was very sporadic. It didn't happen all the time. Like, from 12 to 16, that's 4 years, but nothing happened. And then 16, it was like or something else happened, right? And so after that, it was probably like another 4 years, and something triggered. But when I started back in 20, that was a long time ago. Wait a minute, let me get the numbers right. Okay, let me get the numbers right. So when I first started grad school, probably like around 2023, it was a requirement for us to have therapy for our, that first year that we were starting school there. And so that was the first spoke with someone about what, and that was actually the start of my healing journey, because I'm in my 20s, practically 20 years later, I'm actually about what happened to me. And so, that was the start. Now, one thing that I will say is, you are not getting your mental health checked, the things that you may not have healed from, whatever age those things happen, whatever triggers you, you go back to that age mentally. You don't grow up until you heal from it. And so, in certain situations where I was triggered, I went back to that girl, that 11-year-old girl, 12-year-old girl, because I had never taken the time to fully develop myself in that area. And so it was really an eye-opening experience for me. It was something that I had to learn about myself. It was something that I really wasn't taught to do. I wasn't taught to really talk about my experiences or share what was going on. I, didn't have necessary steps, but when I actually took a hold of wanting to not go through those experiences again, because it was annoying. Like, I had to stop my life every time. I had to take 2 weeks away from the normal of what I knew as normal to get back because it was meant to reset. So every time I was triggered and every time I had those episodes, I had to stop everything. And so picking back up from that stop was more difficult because flow, and just getting rid of that flow because I had to, and then come back, like, it was just a lot. And so, really check and really do your own research on how you can better approach those things. All right. And so when I was in my early 30s, there was another transition that happened that really kind of threw me for. I wasn't expecting it. It was really heartbreaking. And I ended up in an inpatient program. And that's when I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And for those of you who don't know or what anxiety is, so anxiety, it depends. There's a lot of different forms. If you're in the social work field, you can look and see the different types of forms. That's, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so when it comes to anxiety, so just overthinking, and this is a very simplified version of it. You can do your own research and look into what anxiety is, because there are different forms. And thinking too much into the future, overburdening yourself, really doing too much mind, and not letting how you feel out. Okay, that's just the very simplified version. When it comes to bipolar, and this is a very simplified version as well. It's like mood swing. You're up, down, you're high, you're low. There's different forms of bipolar as well. So you can be bipolar depressive, you can be bipolar manic, you can be so many different things. So in my experience, I would go days without sleeping with the mania. I would have like this fury feeling. I would want to be nice to people and give my stuff away, and just really be very optimistic about life, regardless of what was going on. Very spiritual. Already spiritual. In those moments, I would become more spiritual, and it would just be really out of the ordinary for me. People who would see me in that state, they would know something was up, and that I needed to get some rest for one, and I needed to take a break and reset. And so part of that was not just symptoms of bipolar, but also anxiety. Anxious, but I'm not showing you that I'm anxious. I'm showing all these other things, right? And so after that situation, I actually was told that I needed to take medication every day. Now for me, I consider myself a bit of a rebel, because one thing I'm not going to do is become a zombie and take medication every single day. That's not me. I didn't even want to take it for 2 weeks, and to get back to normal. So it was really hard for me. I might have did it for like 2 weeks and I was not going to be my life. And so what happened was I started going to therapy. I started taking more control of my life. Started mental, right? Because it takes a fight to do what you have to do today. It takes a fight to want to be the best that you can be. It takes so much to choose yourself daily. And so I wasn't going to go through this anymore. I made up when I was younger. It was kind of like, all right, I kind of wanted to break anyway, but as I got older, healthy, and I don't realize the effect that I'm having on the people around me, my family, my friends who see me like this, because they have to stop me. And so once I got to be an adult, I'm like, no, okay, it's not healthy, and I'm not going to live my life hooked on medication that I have to change all the time, because after a while your body gets immune to it. All right, now there's some of you who are on medication where you have to, because your life depends on it. That's very different, right? And so follow your doctor's prescriptions, and if you got the wrong doctor, find a new one, because you need the best advice. you know you better than anyone else. So follow your heart first, follow your spirit, and then what get connected to that's doing their job right, follow their job. All right, so I decided to take charge and take control of my life, and started to be more intentional with my decisions, to be more intentional with what I was feeding myself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, my workout regimen, my circle of friends. I was very intentional on staying healthy, staying out of the hospital, stop being experimented on, being looked at, and that, so for those of you who don't know or who've never been in any type of hospitalized or inpatient program, it is similar, in my opinion, to being in prison, because you're told when to wake up. You have to go to work, you have to do different things in order for you to be discharged. So even if you don't want to do those things, you have to do certain things in order to leave. And the longer that you rebel, the longer you stay there. And so sometimes you have to take it to make it, okay? But no one's gonna put me first, especially myself. And I had to learn to grow up mentally and to fight. And so there was a situation where a big transition, big loss, something that was really tough, and I could have ended up back going inpatient, but I chose another route. I chose to fight mentally, and I just accepted everybody and took some time away, did what I had to do by myself. Came back to myself without medication, without seeing doctors, without being experimented. And, that let me know that I can do it. That let me know that there's more fight in me, okay, than what people are used to. And so, I am growing up, and, it's been a journey, and it's continuing to be a journey. It will always be a journey for me, but it's important to really talk about these things, especially within the Black community. Some people don't talk about it, and get stigma behind it and things of that nature. We all go through our own mental health. We all have anxiety. We all have PTSD. Okay, it's what we've been through. But when you are not actively healing and you're not actively keeping your mental health in check, you will succumb to whatever you receive because you don't have any standards on your life. So that is my spiel. I didn't get too deep into it. I didn't go into all the glory details, all the things, because at the end of the day, even if I did go through the whole feel of what I went through, it would never justify how I went through it, and I can give you all the details from write it to. I can make it sound good, but you will never have the feeling that I felt when I was there, and so maybe something will come out. So stay tuned for that. But, I just wanted to share my story and to let you know, even though I'm smiling all the time, and, there's so many things that I do, so many things that I accomplish, I have dealt with mental health pretty much my life, and it's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to put out there because you never know how many other people dealt with the same thing. And it's amazing. A lot of people are dealing with a lot of things that they think they want. Let me tell you, you are not. Okay, so now we are going to get into one of my favorite parts of the show is our mic drop. Yes, that's right. Listen, The mic drop for today is to really be intentional about your healing. You can't play a victim all the time. You can't blame others. You have to take something because you are responsible for you. Not your mama, not your pappy, not your siblings, not your friends, not your dad, work, whatever it might be. You are responsible for you. So take take some responsibility, okay? You cannot live this life in full if you don't know who you are, if you're hiding from who you are, and you are not in tune with who you are. How can you walk in purpose if you don't know who you are, right? You haven't had your mental health in check for years, haven't embraced your child, you don't even know what your triggers are. Like, learn you. Take the time to learn you, to understand you, to grow you, so that you can stop making excuses. You're not a victim. What happened to you is not who you are. But if you live like it's who you are, you're always going to be looked at as a victim. Yourself that way. If you don't want to be yourself a victim, get the help you need. Talk to somebody. Write it down. Put it in a book. Make your own. Do some speaking engagements. Get creative, right? Make some reels. Do some posts that really keeping it in. Let me tell you from experience, does not work. Okay, it's like a volcano effect, because eventually something is going to tip you to the edge and you're going to explode and everything is going to go with it. All right, I dealt with that too. I'm learning to effectively communicate, feel in that moment and not wait until later. Later gets the wrong way. Even if you don't want it to, that's what happens. All right, so don't do that. Okay, take time to really heal you, to heal the inner child that's within. So talk to your inner child. Let them know it's okay. Let them know they're safe. It's over. You're not dealing with that anymore. But really be intentional about your healing journey, because it is your responsibility to get better. No one else's. And if you don't want it, and if you're not fighting for it, how can you expect someone else to want to fight for it? You have to want it. All right. So that's my spiel. That is my spiel. Listen, my words getting all jumbled today. I don't know. But like I said, I normally don't talk about my mental health. I try to put it in what I do here and there. But this episode is definitely what I've been through. And I just want to encourage you all who may go through your mental health issues that you are not alone. You're not crazy. You're not more than that. This is part of your story and your testimony. And one thing I'll say that helped me throughout my entire life is putting him first and really building my relationship with him helped me to know who I am, and helps me to know that I'm not you and that I'm here for purpose, and there's more to my life than what I've done and what I've experienced, and just knowing that my purpose is greater than my pain, being pushed more to my purpose, it helped me to elevate on different levels. And so make sure you're spiritually grounded. Make sure you do your research. Make sure you check on your mental health daily. Have a routine. Do what you got to do, okay? All right, so listen. Intelexx Artrepreneur Agency is leading for artists, and I just want you all to have a chance to really get all the benefits of the agency, the umbrella agency. Intelexx is under the umbrella. So if you want to stay connected, go to Intelexx.com for all of the goodies on our website. We have so many different things, and the one thing that we do have is our app, the Artrepreneurs Hub. make sure to click that link in Intelexx.com so that it'll direct you to there. If you go to your Play Store, go to the Mighty Network. Once you download it, look for the Artrepreneurs Hub, and we are right there. All right. So that is all that I have for you today. Listen, thank you so much for being an amazing. Appreciate you coming back every single month for these episodes. Appreciate all of your support. This is me and my vulnerability, something that I've never done for this. Thank you so much for your love, support, for sharing, for feedback. I appreciate it all. And until next time, make sure to know the importance of checking your mental health. You are not out of your mind. You are not crazy, despite what they say. You just are a little disconnected. You need to reconnect. So, love you. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. Have an amazing day and an awesome rest of your week. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Okay, so keep it real. What did you think? And be honest, y'all, because I really want to know what y'all think. Honest feedback definitely matters, okay? Share your thoughts about it on the Q&A that's attached to the episode on Anchor or Spotify or Apple or all the amazing platforms. If you're on YouTube, make sure to drop a comment. If you want to share a little bit more, but you don't want to do it on those platforms, make sure to email us so that we can share your thoughts on the show. I want you to remember to love yourself.
I meditate all the time, learn my lesson, turn my blessings into one of a kind. I'm gonna stand up face to face, there ain't anything in my way. Mama told me never let my feelings get in the way. I'm waking up like how the hell can I get better today? I gave myself that confirmation, boy, you already great.
Be true to yourself. And when life starts lifing, life back. But don't forget to life relax. Until next time.